I definitely find that, myself included, often what we find ourselves pursuing in life is to help a previous version of ourselves, right? Like we came from the dark place and now we're trying to help others because we got out of it. But I also think there's this really interesting thing that happens with mothers and daughters where I've seen this before, and I wonder what your take on it is, where you're also maybe like trying to essentially help and coach, be the coach that your mom didn't have.
Oh my gosh, Christy, you're gonna make me cry.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, that's okay. The tears are good. They're
I'm
good. The
sorry.
gift of tears, I have them. I never thought of it that way, but you totally nailed it.
Yeah.
And so I'm holding my baby girl, and I realized the job that was the dreamiest thing in the world, that's where all of my time and my energy, my creativity, like
Mm,
I poured so much of myself into that. And it was like this visceral response of like, no,
yeah.
I don't want to do that anymore. And so it very clearly, like the decision was keep doing what you're doing, or you have to create something new.
Hmm.
And so, yes, I was scared to start a business. Yes, I didn't know how, but that in that moment, that choice felt a whole lot less scary
Mm.
than going down the same path that I had been going down now as a mother. I call it GUS for most of my clients, which is a fun acronym for God, Universe, Source.
Oh, I
But
like
like
that.
you call it whatever the heck, you call it Mother
Right.
Nature, call it Gaia, call it Goddess, he, her, him, they. I don't care what
Yes.
you call it, like
That's funny.
something bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I find that I call in women who do believe in something bigger. They believe that they're here for a purpose. They believe that there is a bigger plan, but that inner knowing, like I imagine this almost like an old school volume dial in your heart,
Mm,
like it's
mhm.
turned down really low, and so they can't hear it, they can't distinguish it. The noise like around in their own head and around them is so loud that it's hard to follow that. And so a really big part of the work that I do with my clients, and to answer your question, like this was the thing for me. I have cultivated, not very naturally, it's been work, but it's the greatest work I think you could ever do, cultivating that relationship that I have with my own intuition and what I personally call God. I started off as a life coach. I got my life coaching certification, was one of my first certifications ever. And I thought, I'm just going to help people live better, happier lives.
Mhm.
And that started with like SMART goals and like, what do you want? And close your eyes and we'll build this vision. And then once we have your goals and your vision, like I'll help you craft an action plan, and we'll have you take action, and I'll keep you accountable. And
Mhm.
that was what it was. It was like, it was very heady, like very much in the brain, in the mind.
Very heady.
Right, like, how
Yeah.
do we say, like, it
Yeah.
all lives
I
up
get you.
here.
Yeah.
Okay, you gotta put this in the video
Yeah, I
somewhere.
will.
I talk with
Yeah.
my hands, like, I'm all
I
over the place,
yeah.
and so, and that it was all strategy, I should say. It
Mhm.
was all
Mhm.
strategy, it all lived in the mind, and
Mm.
that worked to an extent. Like, my clients got good enough results,
Mhm.
and they were happy, and they were re-signing, and I, as a coach from doing this work, like, I was experiencing success, but it didn't actually feel good. Like it definitely felt
Mm.
like there was something missing. And for the amount of time and energy and effort I was putting in, like I wasn't feeling fulfilled, but my bank account was also like the actual tangible results that you need when you
Mhm.
have a business, if you want to stay in business. It wasn't there. And I'm an action taker. I will read the books, I will sign up for the courses. I'm not afraid of strategy. Tell me what to do. And so it was like 2 years into my business, Christy, where I was doing
Mm.
all of the things, and I was a straight A student
Mhm.
from the minute I came out of the womb, even in my business. Like if you could get grades, I was getting A's. But there was a big gap between where I was and what I knew was possible. I'll just go into it. Mom, if you're listening, I love you. I hope you're okay with this. So I was a surprise. Like my parents were not married. They went on a couple of dates, didn't work out that well. A few months down the road, my mom found out she was pregnant.
Oh my.
So she was in a space, imagine that, friends, like you're not trying to have a baby.
Yeah.
You don't actually really want to have a baby right now. And you find out there is a baby growing in your body.
Yeah.
And so what we hold, like our beliefs, what's happening in our body goes straight to the womb. We are connected to our babies. And so I came into this world with beliefs around not being wanted,
Mm,
not having a place,
mm,
feeling like I was going to be a burden.
mhm,
Like, those are really big things
mhm,
to come into the world carrying in a 6-pound body.
mhm,
And then until you get to a place where you're willing to look at that and do the work, you carry those things with you. When I spent several months in that dark space, dark headspace, dark heart space,
mhm.
um, I think that there's a certain amount of time, like an incubation, where honestly, you got to be in the darkness.
Yeah.
You can't rush it, you can't jump out of it, you can't run away from it. So there is like the necessary part of that void, that darkness.
Mhm.
And then there comes a time, and I'm curious to, like, if you can relate to these different phases. There comes a time where you've been sitting in it and you're like, you're tired of it. You're tired of your own stuff.
Mhm.
And you've been in it and you're like, okay, I don't need to be in it anymore. But if nothing changes, nothing changes. And
Yeah.
so now it's on me to do something different.